Back in 2020, when Idaho became the first state to ban transgender girls and women from playing on teams for which they identify, there was a question of whether that was even a thing here in Idaho. Well, it was, as evidenced by the subsequent lawsuit filed that April by a transgender woman who wanted to run on the Boise State cross-country team. There's currently an injunction against the Fairness in Women's Sports Act from being enforced while the lawsuit plays out here in Idaho. But that doesn't mean the law hasn't cast its shadow. There was the double down by Idaho's governor last month when he signed an executive order to combat the Biden administration's interpretation of Title IX, which includes protections for transgender athletes. He did it right there on the State House steps, standing right beside Riley Gaines. And then last week, when Boise State forfeited its women's volleyball game against San Jose State University, allegedly because the Spartans have a transgender woman on their team. Allegedly, since BSU didn't explain why it was forfeiting the match. They only went on to say that, well, just that they will not play the game against San Jose State in California on Saturday. And per Mountain West Conference policy, that match will be recorded as a conference loss for the Broncos.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So it looks like we're going to have forfeit number 6. Everybody was wondering if there were going to be more forfeits. Well, it turns out that these schools play each other more than once. So Boise State is set to play San Jose State. And are they playing? No, they're not. Boise State's women's volleyball team has already informed San Jose State that it plans to forfeit the second match between the two schools scheduled for November 21. As Outkick's Alejandro Avila exclusively reported in September, the Broncos were the first Mountain West school to forfeit a match against the Spartans due to the presence of transgender player Blaire Fleming. Now, Southern Utah State University, they were the first team to forfeit, but they're not part of the Mountain West. Since then, 3 conference opponents have followed suit: Wyoming, Utah State, Nevada. There were questions, though, whether teams scheduled to face SJSU twice would forfeit both matches, especially given the tight race in the Mountain West. The answer for Boise State is yes. Despite directly harming its chances of reaching the conference tournament, the Broncos are not willing to face San Jose State and Blaire Fleming. So forfeiting twice, it does have serious consequences in terms of how far you're going to get in the tournament. And this is obviously going to hurt Boise's chances of progressing further in the tournament. But even so, they're saying they're not playing. So much respect to these athletes who continue to refuse to play against a team who has a male player. And much respect to the school for supporting their female athletes. The whole state is behind you. The state governor is behind you. So I'm so happy to hear this, that they're continuing on with the forfeits. So Boise's statement simply said, Boise State Volleyball will not play its scheduled home match on Thursday, November 21 against San Jose State per Mountain West Conference policy. The conference will record the match as a forfeit for Boise State. So this is a home match for Boise, so it saves San Jose State the journey. And no doubt they're not going to be asking for money this time because it's not in San Jose, so they're not going to miss out on any concessions and all of that stuff they were talking about. Among the teams that forfeited against San Jose State, only Boise and Wyoming were scheduled to play the Spartans twice. So the Wyoming match is scheduled for November 14 in San Jose, and it's still on as of now. So we shall see. They did forfeit once. Will they forfeit again? My guess is yes, but I know the stakes are high and there were huge consequences to forfeiting twice. So I get, that they may be reluctant, who knows. But safety comes first. Women's sports, the integrity of women's sports needs to come first at some point. So I hope that they too will forfeit. It's hard to overstate what the forfeit means for Boise State. After beating Nevada on Saturday, the Broncos moved to 7-6 in Mountain West play. They are currently in 6th place in the conference. Only 6 teams qualify for the Mountain West tournament, which starts on November 27. Yeah. Accepting a crucial loss, the second forfeit loss of the season for Boise State, shows how committed the Broncos team is to standing on the principle of not contesting a match against a biological male, even if it cuts the season short and ends its dreams of reaching the NCAA Division I volleyball tournament. Yeah, I really feel for them. These female athletes should not be put through this. They should not be having to forfeit games. It really is sad when you think about it.
And you wrote a letter.
Yes, I did.
Her letter, dated September 22nd, April said she sent to all university presidents in the Mountain West Conference. And in it, she emphasized safety and fairness. She also asked schools to boycott matches against the Spartans.
And I heard nothing back.
Do you know anybody else who has written letters like this? Parents that have wanted to or have written letters?
I get a lot of support for what I'm doing because this is really out of my wheelhouse, speaking up like this. It's very unusual. So they all support me and they're cheering for me, but they're afraid. They are afraid to speak out.
How do you know this?
They've told me.
What have they said?
Well, they're afraid that they're going to be viewed as transphobic or hateful. They're afraid of losing their jobs for speaking up. They're afraid of their female student athlete losing their spot. So I get it, and I respect the place that they're at right now, but we need more people speaking up. We need players, we need fans, and we need parents.
What do you want to see happen?
I would like to see the NCAA separate collegiate sports by biological sex and protect the female category.
No gray area.
There's no gray area. We are born either a male or a female. And I'm not too sure how we got to this gray area in sports because sports have always been separated by sex. There's always been separation in sports to make it fair.
There was a time when sports were separated by race and color too.
Mm-hmm. That is true. But again, I'm going back to the most basic separation, biological sex. It shouldn't be complicated.
You mentioned risk. Other parents don't want to risk.
Mm-hmm.
You've risked a little bit.
I've risked a lot, yeah.
How so?
My daughter has asked me not to speak about this. She asked me twice and begged me a third time. She doesn't want this drama on her team. She doesn't want to deal with this, and she never asked for this attention, and I never wanted that for her, but as of right now, she's really upset with me.
How upset? Not
talking to me. And I told her when she asked me each time, I said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. This issue is bigger than you. It's bigger than your team. It's bigger than your conference. It's women's sports on the line here. And I'm just hoping that the foundation we have built, that she'll see this and understand why.
There are some things that matter more than wins and losses. There are some things that matter more than trophies and tournaments. Even the girls on the SJSU team were saying that if we win a ring, what is it worth? When a big part of the win is probably going to be due to the fact that we have a male player on the team, when we won it at the expense of female athletes. So whatever happens, these female athletes are winners. They're winners in the eyes of other female athletes all over the country, internationally even. People are following this story internationally, that these women have already won just by doing what they need to do to save the integrity of women's sports, to save the integrity of their sport, and by looking out for their safety. I know Peyton McNabb will tell you that it's not worth it. She will tell you it's not worth it. It's not worth the risk to play another match. Even a scholarship is not worth risking your safety over. So well done, Boise State. I'm so proud to hear this. They are continuing on with the forfeits and they're standing their ground because they know that what's at stake here is more important than the tournament. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.